Hello, and I am so excited to be here. I'm honored to be here with award-winning writer, director, Sabaah Folayan. How are you?
So good. It's nice to meet you, Georgia. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. You are just absolutely gorgeous. Let me just say that. And smart. And smart. Y'all, first of all, I'm looking at, the movie people send me a one sheet. I'm like, wait a minute. Graduate of Columbia, degree in biology, pre-med student. I'm confused. Wait, what? First off, I have a 16-year-old, so even getting into Columbia, what? Your path, this is a different path for you. How did that come about?
Yeah, it's a very different path. So I grew up in South Central LA, and we didn't always have a lot of money. So it was kind of like that thing of become a doctor. I always knew that I wanted to help people. I always had a strong desire to improve the world just from a very young age. But that felt like the safest way to do it. And then as I got into it and started understanding, what that meant on a day-to-day basis, I started to realize that it might not be a fit for me. And so from there, I went into nonprofit work. I worked at an organization called the Osborne Association that did reentry, helping people who were incarcerated to connect to services, reconnect to their communities. And I also worked at an organization called the Urban Justice Center that at a specific program called the Mental Health Project, also connecting people who, if they were either hospitalized or incarcerated due to mental illness, supporting them and their families in accessing services. So that was happening. And then when Mike Brown Jr. was killed, I started speaking online, just, how everybody's a, Twitter activist. And people were really resonating with what I was saying in a way that was surprising. I mean, people that I knew would come up to me and be thanking me for the things that I was saying. And I was like, wow, there must be something in my perspective that's valuable to people. So I wasn't satisfied with it just being online. And I was trying to find some type of path or way I could be useful. So that's when I went to Ferguson, and I was going to write a public health report about trauma coming out of this situation. Like, that was my whole goal. And we quickly got there and realized, like, okay, you can't be asking these multiple choice questions in this environment. And that's really how my career in film happened, like, emerged really organically.
Amazing. So, how do you become involved in the telling of XXXTentacion's story?
Yeah, a classmate of mine from Columbia, actually, who knew kind of what I was about, put me up for an interview. Shout out to Jelani. And, I came into it kind of guns blazing, like, listen, I'm an activist. These are my values. I support survivors, all these type of things. And I didn't know what to expect in a response, but Rob at the Fader and Solomon and Cleo, they were all really, really supportive of that approach. And so I was kind of surprised by that. But I was like, well, then great, because this is an incredible opportunity to have a conversation about mental health, to have a conversation about intimate partner violence, to have it directly with young people and engage them on the level of their interests, and also hopefully bridge with parents and bridge with educators and bridge with public officials to understand what the texture of these issues really is.
So, okay, so I have a 25-year-old and a 16-year-old. And
no, you don't, because you're 25.
no, I had them when I was 12. So don't try to figure out my age. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Thank you. But and I was thinking, why does his story resonate and his music so much with people? Because I'm 52, but my 25-year-old was like, mom, he was so relatable and he seemed so genuine. And my 25-year-old was like, every day isn't going to be a great social media day, like pretty like it looks on social media. And he was the first person that he listened to who basically made him feel okay with saying, you know what, I'm a little depressed today. I don't feel the best today. And so that was their reasoning, my two boys. So why do you think his music resonated, his story resonated so much with people?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly that. Somebody that's, first of all, you being 52, I just need the water regimen. I don't know. I
You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
But someone asked me a valuable question earlier today. Why are people drawn to violence? And what I think it is that anger is an emotion that feels better than pain and sadness.
Wow.
You
That's
know, and
yes.
yeah. And so when we can't feel down, when we can't be vulnerable, we can't be sad, when we can't say, "Ooh, that hurt," and lay down, we get mad. And so to see somebody like X who could just get mad in public and then also make it look cool, you know, that's cathartic because people are hurting. And so that other part of him, the one that was vulnerable and that was expressing that pain, that's the real emotion that's underneath. And if we want to see a world that's safer and less violent and less angry, then we have to make it okay and acceptable for people to be in pain, because that's really what that is.
Right. So it seems like a lot of these streaming companies are being very intentional with helping us tell ours, or letting us tell our stories. How did you connect with Hulu, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I have known Belisa, who is the head of the original docs strands at Hulu, for quite some time. We met at Sundance in the process of me making Who Streets, and just kind of, you know, had a casual relationship. And so I got attached to the project with Fader. And once we brought it to Hulu, just the benefit of having that trust, because it was sort of a gamble for a lot of companies. You know, they, like, people weren't necessarily rushing to put their name on the project due to the controversy. So her taking the time to build those relationships and understanding what I was about was a big part of that. And I was just really grateful and really, really, you know, honored and humbled to have that trust. You know, you don't always know like who's watching you, who's seeing, what they think. So to be trusted with something that's risky, I give her a lot of credit and a lot of gratitude.
So, and I know we got to hurry because you got other people to talk to, but what do you want people to take away from this?
I want people to take away, you know, when it comes to controversy, especially when it involves young people, to put your ego to the side, because this is what I had to do in the process of making this film. Going in, I'm like, I'm an activist, I'm a feminist, I'm this, I'm that. These are my values, right? And I wanted to make sure everybody knew what my values were. At some point in the process, it became more important to actually understand what was going on from many different perspectives. Whether or not people know who I am, my circles know who I am and what I'm about. That's not what the film is for. The film is for the collective, people on all sides of the issue, the ones that's done wrong, the ones that's been wronged, and everyone in between, to try to have a better conversation. So I hope that people can find a way to remove their egos a little bit from these difficult moments and be about what it is that the collective needs.
I love everything. Wow, you're so young and just so prolific, and you're such a prolific storyteller. And I'm so honored that you took the time to speak with me today. And I'm also excited to see, to you know, look for all of your stuff in the future. I just can't wait to see all the other stuff that you're doing. But you guys check this out. It's called Look at Me, XXXTentacion, and it is on Hulu starting May 26th. So make sure you check it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Georgia. Don't forget to send me that water that you drink. I need it.
Thank you.